What's up guys, welcome back to another Logic Pro X tutorial. Today we will be going over how to make a lo-fi beat in Reason, and as an added bonus we'll be going over how Maschine works inside of Reason 9.5 with VST support. So here I have a beat that I already made. I'm going to play it for you. Because I didn't want to go super long on this video, I wanted to keep it nice and short. So here's what I have, and it's just a short 1 minute. It's for a special surprise that's coming up on the channel. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet, but this is about a minute long, and so yeah, here it is. Nice and interesting sounding. Nice gritty drums. And that's basically it. So basically, what I used Maschine for was this lo-fi EP pattern at the beginning. Yeah, so I basically just used it for that. And basically, I turned it off because it uses a lot of CPU. That's one thing I will have you consider, is that Maschine in Reason uses a lot of CPU. But that's okay. So we're going to be getting into it. So here we go. Here's my Maschine project. So basically all I did was I just created a short little chord progression. And then there's two ways I use Maschine. There's ways to use it differently, but the way that I use it is that I either drag MIDI over into an instrument, like I did over here on the lo-fi EP pattern, or I click here, hold, it exports the audio, and then you can drag the audio in over here, drop it, and you have what you're using. So I dragged it in, I dropped it over here, and I dropped it there, and basically we can close this and turn this off now. So basically I made it in Maschine. If you don't know how to use Maschine, I'll make another video on that. I actually a long time ago started a Maschine channel that I never really completed, but you can check that out. I think there's a link somewhere on the channel. But anyway, so you can either drag MIDI over like this or drag audio over. Those are the two easiest ways to use Maschine in Reason, to do everything in Maschine and then sequence it inside of Reason. Okay, so the next thing I did was I processed. Now, processing is everything when it comes to lo-fi. The first thing I did was added a transient master from Native Instruments to soften the attack, because this is what it sounded like before. It's kind of harsh, so turning it on, it makes it a lot softer. And then I just compressed the sound a little bit because I wanted to sidechain it, which we'll get to later. Okay, so next thing I did was I added this ID8 instrument device, and I set it to dance because the dance has less low-end information. And basically what I did was I added another compressor here because we sidechained this as well. And that's all the insert effects I have on that. And basically I just sequenced this nice piano part. I have it right here. Here we go. Let me solo that. Nice clean piano. Well, not clean, it's actually very dirty. And then that's basically it. And those top line melodies I took out for the second part. Yeah, and so then we get to the drums. So here's the drums. Here's what I have. You can tell it's really groovy, like I'm way off on them, which is kind of a good thing in lo-fi. Basically what I did was I just played them in by hand using a MIDI controller, and that just leads to so much more natural sounding sounds. Okay, so what did I do for the drums? So the drums are coming out a soon-to-be kit that I'm releasing. That's going to be a lo-fi refill for a reason. So watch out for that. It might be free. It might be like $1 or $2 just to cover the cost of making it. but it's going to be cheap, that's for sure. And I'm going to have a bunch of Kong kits, maybe a couple redrum kits, and definitely some Rex loops for you guys to mess around with, all lo-fi for this lo-fi genre. So basically, I have these drums, and then I have hi-hats. I have a whole bunch of sounds on here. But basically, I just use the kick and the snare. I don't remember which kick I used. Let's see real quick. Yeah, so this kick, this snare, and this hi-hat. And basically all I did was I sequenced a quick pattern. You can see it over here. For the hi-hats, it's this stuttering sort of dun-dun, dun-dun. Because you really want really offbeat hi-hats. That's a key in the lo-fi genre. The next thing I did was I added a snare just on the typical beats. And you'll notice over here I actually took out the snare for this one hit. Because it creates a sort of anticipation that I liked a lot. So yeah, and then the kick is really simple. You kind of want a hard-hitting kick because, here, let me explain lo-fi for a second. Lo-fi tends to have less high-end energy and less low-end energy because in old records, the highs were rolled off and the lows were rolled off. Now, in the modern lo-fi hip-hop genre, there actually is a lot of bass. If you listen to some lo-fi, like some of the lo-fi channels on YouTube, there's actually a lot of bass. It's just not clear bass. It's not crisp. So what you have to do with the bass is you have to make it overly... like, you purposely have to try to lose information. So let me explain what I mean by that. So let's say we had a bass line, which we do not because I just have a kick in this one. But if we had a bass line, right, we'd want it to be, what I'd do is if we had a bass line, let me just add a quick instrument real quick. We'll just add ID8 instrument device up here. And then we make this bass. Bass, where's bass? Did I pass it? Synth, where am I? Where's bass? Bass, there it is, sorry. So anyway, we have a bass, right? Let's say we're using the upright. I'll get some keys out. What you want to do is to process it. If you'll notice, every time I play a sound, there's a lot of static. That's because the master effects, but we're going to get over that in a second. So basically, it's all processing. Lo-fi is all processing. So anyway, we have a bass. What we would do is we'd add the trusty Audiomatic retro transformer, and we'd actually add bottom, because what bottom does is, if you imagine that there's here, so you'll see that it pops up at different octaves, right? What the bottom does, if we crank that up versus nothing, you'll see there's these nice peaks and valleys, right? When we hit bottom and we crank it up and crank up the dry wet, the peaks and valleys kind of go away. Look at how flat that becomes. So we're really losing information, and that's what we want because it's lo-fi. So anyway, I'm going to delete this because that was just to show you guys. So anyway, you want to lose information. That's basically the key. Everything that you know about making music, you throw out the window when it comes to lo-fi. Okay, so now on to the master effects. So this is the key. You just want to process the living hell out of it. Literally just go ham. Yeah, so I added this vinyl. Now, I added isotope vinyl as well. I added 2 maximizers. I could have thrown in a compressor at the beginning, and I probably should have thrown in another Audiomatic retro transformer, but since I like how it sounds, we're just going to leave it. So anyway, I put it on vinyl. I turned the transform to 91%, dry wet to 33, and then I cranked the shizzle out of this maximizer. 11.8 input gain. 4 milliseconds look ahead, fast, and the output gain I turned down a little bit because I knew I was going to run it through isotope vinyl. And what isotope vinyl is a free plugin that emulates some pitch bend and some wear on, and you can add some of the things like electrical noise, dust, mechanical noise, scratch, change the year that it's from. You'll see if I turn this down. You lose information. But anyway, we have it on stereo, and the warp depth is up to about 25%. And basically, I always use the second model for the warp because I like when the pitch goes up and then it steadies out for a little bit. Yeah, and I added some wear. You'll see what the wear does. It makes it It makes it super worn out, really. What is it not pausing? There we go. Sorry, Reason was glitching for a second. Anyway, so I added a maximizer, another maximizer, vinyl, 2 instances of vinyl emulation device, and yeah, basically you just crank. The thing that a limiter does is it sort of flattens out the sound, processes the sound a little bit, and anytime that you process a sound, it's going to artifact a little bit. There's just no helping that. And basically by using 2 maximizers all the way cranked up, I really truly oh, and I turned on the soft clip for the second one. I really truly just processed the shit out of the sound. Excuse my French, but yeah, that's what I did. So anyway, you'll say, okay, so that's done. You got this nice beat. You got this nice lo-fi EP, electric piano, some nice piano, some drums, simple, nice, clean lo-fi. Now the last thing that you want to do is you want to sidechain. So sidechaining is important in this genre because even basically in the olden days, I say the olden days, some of you maybe it's not too long ago, I don't know, but 30s, hopefully none of you are from then. The 30s, basically when like a kick would hit, it would duck the whole track because as it got louder, it had to even out again, so it just brought the level of everything down. So basically, that was a sort of unnatural / unnatural sidechain, like sort of not intentional sidechain. But nowadays in lo-fi hip-hop, sidechaining is everywhere, so it's really important that you want to sidechain in lo-fi hip-hop. So anyway, I took my kick. This looks really complex, but I did it stupidly. So basically what you have to do is you have to go to your kick and send it to output 3, 4, any output you want. I send it to 3 and 4. And basically, I took the output from 3 and 4, I sent it to the merger. Wait, no. 3 and 4, I sent it to the splitter. I split the signal up. I could have just split it over here. I don't know why. I could have used one spider audio device. But anyway, I sent it here. I split it up. That way, I could send it here and send the master effects to the mix channels. Because basically, you want to end up into the input of your mix channel. So basically, no matter what you do, you have to end up sending the sounds to the mix channel or you're not going to hear it. So basically, what I did was I split the signal. I sent some of it to the splitter, and the hi-hat and the snare I sent to the merger also. So I merged everything. So this is all the sounds, all 3 sounds right here: hi-hat, snare, kick. And I sent that to the mix channel so we can hear everything. So you'll notice if I solo this, you can hear everything, all the sounds perfectly. Whereas if I disconnect this, you can't hear anything. So let me undo that. And then the other thing that I did was I split the kick. So basically you merge all the sounds, send it up to the mix channel. Now with the kick, I split it and sent it to the compressors in the lo-fi EP and the piano. So you send it to the side chain input. Send it to the side chain input, tab around, and basically these are the settings that I used for my compressor. You can use any settings you'd like. Just make sure that attack is very quick. The attack needs to be all the way down. And basically this is the sound that you get. Let me solo the sidechain. Oh, sorry, I had to solo it. I was wondering why you couldn't hear anything. Let me go back, solo the sidechain. Yeah, so basically you can hear it coming through. Let me undo that. And now you'll notice the kick ducks the whole track. Perfect, and that's how you make a lo-fi beat in Reason. So basically, let's recap. Let's do a quick recap. Use Maschine to create the lo-fi EP. Just drag the audio over using the drag and drop feature. I have the dance piano because I wanted to emulate the lo-fi sound because it has less low-end energy. I used a kick from the refill that is coming up soon. The kick sent to these 2 spider audios and side chains both the piano and the EP. So now we've side chained, we've created our instrumentation, we've created our drums, and all we have to do is process. So I added isotope vinyl to the master and the Audiomatic Retro Transformer vinyl to the master. I cranked the crap out of 2 maximizers, and I probably should have thrown in a compressor up here. That's important. So yeah, that's how you make a lo-fi beat. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next one. Plenty more beat making tutorials to come, but I just wanted to show you guys this just to get that out there. Hope you guys enjoyed, and see you in the next one. Peace.